Hello friends, welcome. I'm so glad you're here with me today. So today we are going to be talking about creating using foilable panels. So Whimsy Stamps offers these great sets of foiled panels, and they come as toner sheets. They're just black, and then you use heat activated foil toner foil to add your color. So sometimes when I try to create with these panels, I think it can be a little overwhelming. So I have kind of come up with tips for myself to, use the foil panels in a way that that I like. So I'm going to share some of those ideas with you today. So I'm kind of showing you this one now so you can see the part that's foiled is that fun kind of the lights in the background. And we also have on this card some scallops here, and our white section, more scallops, and then our items are raised. And we're going to talk about these things too. So let's go ahead and look at the other products that we're going to be using today. So the two foil packs that we're using are going to be the Festive Holidays, and then I'm using a couple things also from the Holiday Sentiment pack. And we'll use those. For my two stamp sets today, I'm using the Santa Claus out of the Santa and Friends set. And then I'm using this fun mouse sitting on a Christmas ornament out of the Deck the Halls mice set. I'm using the Mix and Match scalloped frames, but I'm not using the frame. I am using the frame, but I'm not using it as a frame. That is how I got the scallops to go across my panel here, and I'll show you how I did that. For one of the cards, we're going to use a stitched oval. And then if you look at these, this one is actually smaller. So to use this as my outline, my outer frame, meant I would have had to cut my foiled panel down smaller to where I would lose more of my foiling. So that's why I didn't use this one. But this one, it's a bigger piece. So I used the scallop from this die set, which it escapes the name of me. Let me look and see if I have it in here. Nope. I have misplaced the name of this one, but I think it's something to do with spring because it's got this thing, but it looks like this, and I'll try to get that. It'll be listed below the video. I'm sorry that I didn't have it in advance, but that's the outer frame that we'll be using today. And then I'm also around my sentiment. I'm using this one right here to get my sentiment, and I think that is everything. So a few things that I am bringing in. I'm using some red toner foil. And then I'm also using a couple different pieces of green foil. So I have some green foil. Set those aside. Oh, and I'll also be using I brought in a couple different pieces from paper packs. So this one is the Gilded Holiday, and I pulled a couple that are the gold color. And then out of the Christmas Eve paper, I pulled this one here with some greenery, and we'll decide which one we want to use on our card. So first things first, let's go ahead and do some foiling. So we're only going to foil two things. Some of the things I have gone ahead and foiled for us. I've already foiled this panel with some of this fun kind of striped foil. Don't know what else to call that shiny material. And then for this one, we're going to use this piece. It's like a solid green. Let's see. I've also gone ahead and foiled in advance this fun kind of a Christmas tree look, a pine tree around the edges. And let's see. For this, I want to choose a couple of our sentiments. Let's go ahead and do a couple sentiments. So I thought we would do a Warmest Wishes. And let's do a Merry Christmas. And let's see here. I'm going to do this Merry Christmas as well. I want to have a few choices, so there we go. That ought to give us enough. Go ahead and set that aside. And then out of this pack, we're going to do the Ho Ho Ho. Hopefully I have one left. I think I do. Yes, okay. So there is the Ho Ho Ho. We're going to foil that as well. All right, let's get started. I'm going to set these aside. Got my carrier sheet. And let's go ahead and do the Ho 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 first. I'm increasing my heat on my machine back here just a little bit, and the way I like to do it is just lay my panel on there and then take my scissors and just trim it. They have fancy little knives and stuff that'll do your trimming, but I find that's the way I like to do it best. And I have those products and they work really well, but sometimes if I'm just foiling like one panel, I don't necessarily get all that out. If I'm doing a whole bunch of foiling, then I get it out, but all right, so I'm going to lay that right inside my carrier sheet. There we go. And in with my carrier sheet, I like to have a shim to kind of make it a little bit firmer as it goes through. I find I get better foiling that way. And I am just going to take my scissors and trim off this bit that's hanging out. There we go. All right, I'm going to run this through our machine. And I'm using a mini mink. All right, for this little Merry Christmas, I'm going to use a piece of this red foil. For my warmest wishes, I'm going to use this kind of brighter green. And then for this one, I'm going to use this kind of lime green that kind of matches the striped one. And on these, it is okay if your foil overhangs your paper. It's not going to damage your carrier sheet or anything like that. The only thing you don't want is exposed toner to hang over. That's what will get on your carrier sheet. And any of us that do any foiling, we've all had that happen. Where if any of the toner is exposed, that will stick to your carrier sheet, but the foil should not. Okay. Pull that out. And let's see. It's my favorite part. Woo! Ah, gorgeous foiling. All right. So there's our first panel. I don't know if you can see it or not. There we go. Woo! It's beautiful. Okay. Now let's place all of our sentiments on here, run it through one more time, and we'll be ready to start creating. So in my opinion, if you really enjoy the foiled look of things, using the toner foiling is a much easier, what's the right word? User-friendly method of foiling. Using glimmers and some of the other products that do it a different way. I love foiling that way and I do it often, but there's a lot bigger of a learning curve to it in my opinion. It's still fun, and I'm not, I don't necessarily recommend one over the other. I'm just saying that it's a little bit of a smaller learning curve to do it with toner sheets. And dare I say, maybe a little less expensive, because to buy your toner panels is a much more cost-effective thing than having to buy metal toner, the equivalent of dyes, basically, which can get more expensive. So, just some tips. So there we go. Ooh, yeah, someone pulled up right away. So here's our Merry Christmas. Here's another Merry Christmas. Pull those off. And our last one. Get my finger into there. There we go. Warmest wishes. Perfect. All right, we've got our foiling done. Turn my machine off back here, and let's go ahead and get to creating and talking about different tips for creating with the foil panels. So let me just do an experiment right here. Like if we were going to decorate on this and you were just going to set your little image on it and maybe put we'll pretend like this sentiment is cut and ready. But just like this, to me, it's a little bit overwhelming and your image can kind of get lost on the detail of the foiled piece. So you can see on this one of the things I've done is create kind of a blocker to kind of give yourself a barrier with some of that foil. And breaking up the foil to me kind of helps have it not be quite so overwhelming so that it overwhelms your entire project. The other thing, things like adding the little borders is another thing that can kind of draw your eyes in towards the image rather than your foil just, overpowering your eyes, so to speak. And then the other thing is using your foam to lift your images up. Like the tallest image is probably going to reach your eye first. Like having whatever your focal point is to have it lifted up off the page, that's going to help as well. So those are just kind of some easy tips. And we're going to be using all of those tips as we create our cards here today. So I have 2 little mice colored up. I've got several of those outer frames made. So we've got 3. I have myself one of the ovals made, and we may have to make another one, we'll see. And then I have these little pieces. And the way I got these, I've got the red ones made already, but the way I made those is I took my frame, and I'm only going to cut the long edge. Just like this, because what we're making is a border, really. We're not making a frame, so we're just going to put that just like this, and we're going to make ourselves a nice, fun, glittery border. This is some nice glitter cardstock, which is another thing that will provide some separation from our foil. All right. I'm going to grab my old manual machine here and we're going to run this through real quick. So I was at a craft fair and I met a lady who just had gorgeous foiled cards. And I was like, wow, I wish that I could make foiled cards that I'm happy with in the end. And so I started talking with her, and it was actually from her that I kind of realized some of these things that would help me. And as I kind of noticed her cards and the things she was doing and kind of took note of the ones that I liked and why, I realized that she had figured some of these things out. And I was like, very clever. So I'm sharing them with you. And some of it may have been obvious to you, but it wasn't to me. So, okay, let's go ahead and get started. This piece is going to be my piece that comes across. Now, for our ho ho ho, this is what's going to be on our red background. And we're going to go ahead and trim that down so that it fits inside of this frame. Excuse me. All right, so let's see. We're going to make that 3 3/4 by 5. So 3 3/4 by 5. I'm going to do 5 1/4 because that doesn't seem right. But it might be. Yeah, it probably is. But let's check. Yeah, I do need another quarter. You guys knew that, didn't you? Because you're all probably good at math. But I'd rather err on the side of being careful. So we'll trim our others down as we get to it. All right, so for this piece right here, we're going to go ahead and layer up our scallops that we've made. Have you ever thought of using a frame to make yourself some scallops? Whimsy Stamps has lots of different decorative frames, and several of them would be fun to use to make yourself a little border if you needed one. I was thinking of the one, the sprinkled one. That would make a cute little border. I suppose we always use them to some extent as borders around the whole thing, but to use them just as sections. Just an idea. Okay, put that down. And now for this part, I'm going to use some double-sided adhesive. That's glitter cardstock, and I don't know about you, but sometimes I have trouble with my glue taking a long time on the glitter cardstock. So if I use double-sided adhesive, it'll hopefully be ready a little quicker. Okay. Just going to go ahead and do one side at a time. I'm going to add that right there. Oops. About right there. Alright, now just going to add that on my ho 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 piece, and you can see I still get that fun foiled look, but it's not overpowering. So let's go ahead and we're going to add this down. Oops. Trying to get it centered. I think I did let my glitter piece be a little bit wider than maybe I did on this one, so we're seeing a little bit less of the foil. But we're still seeing it, and it still adds that pop and shine that we love with the foil. Whoops. Cut that off. You know what, I just realized I don't have my glasses on, which is why I'm having trouble seeing. I hate being old, or having old eyes, I should say. I hate having old eyes. Okay, now we're just going to go ahead and put our piece here on this frame, and our foil is looking ready to go. I love that I can have that on, but I'm not feeling like it's overpowering. You'll have to let me know if you feel that way too, or if you just let that foil take center stage. And now on this card, we're covering up more foil. On some of the others, we're going to show much more. So don't, if you're one of those that loves the foil, don't feel like you're missing out. So we're going to put some foam on the back of this fella. Okay. And for this, let me grab my circle die. I've already got the frame piece here, but we're going to use this right here, and we're going to cut this out. You never want to put your tape on top of your foil because it will pull your foil up. I think most things I already have cut, so we shouldn't have to cut out too awful much, just a few sentiments. Alright, and we're not going to use that outer piece. We're just going to use this inner piece. Alright, now to do this, I like to turn it upside down. Get that all lined up. And then I take a piece of double-sided adhesive, and I like to tape them together. And this just holds it all together so that I can put it on my card all as one piece, because these do die cut separately. And it seems like I often want to use it all as one piece. So that's just a tip if you're like me and you find yourself wanting to use that die all as one piece. Alright, we're going to put some foam under here. Add it to our card. right here. I still wanted to see all of the scallop at the top. And I'm going to put my Santa down so that his little hand is up on my sentiment. And then just to finish this card off, I decided to take a few red gems and add right down here. Just to kind of give that a little balance. There we go. Got one big one. Whoops. Let's see if I have another small one. Alright, doesn't look like I have another small one here, so we'll just do another medium. Alright, there we go. I love it. What do you think of our foiling? Would you say it's a good balance of foil to white space or solid space? I think it looks great. So I really like how that turned out. So let's quickly move through on our next one. So I think this may end up being one of my favorite ones. Now this one, in order to get it to fit inside, we do have to trim some off, but I don't want to lose too much of my greenery. So we're going to just do a 1/4 inch on each side, all the way around. And hopefully that'll do the trick. Yeah. Alright, just like that. Go ahead and glue that down. And by framing that, it gives our foil kind of contained in a space, and I find that's another thing that kind of is, you know, a good thing to do when you're foiling, is to have it kind of contained. When you use the whole panel, sometimes it just seems like it's kind of exploding. It's not contained in the frame of your card. And for me, I find that I really like it when it has that contained. And so we're actually going to put our oval right in here. And when we add, now we're going to pop this up, but I wanted to, doesn't look like I brought a foil. I was going to brush the edges of that, but I didn't bring any ink over here, so we're going to skip that part. But let's go ahead and add our foil, or add our foam. Okay. Just gonna center that here. And we're also gonna put foam on the back of our mouse. And like I said, when you can move that foil kind of the background and move your images forward, that's just a good way of, you know, because you don't need to do anything to make the foil stand out. It's more, you need to do the things to make the other parts stand out. There we go. Oops, knocking things over here. Okay, now this one that says warmest wishes, it's the one that is the same color here, but I'm thinking I would rather stamp the Merry Christmas here above his head. I think that that will work better. So let me grab, let's see, I'll go ahead and use black ink, because if I had stamped it on there before I put it on, I would be happy to use like red ink, because I could do it in my stamp positioner and do it multiple times. But none of my red inks, I don't trust them to make a good impression the first time. I would have to do them over and over, where this one I'll be able to get a really nice good impression the very first time. There we go. Merry Christmas right there above his head. But we're not done with this one yet. It just doesn't quite look finished, though it's coming together great. we're going to take some of these little beads and bulbs, and we're going to add them to some of our not all, just some. And there's one right there. All right, let's add. Almost all the ones I want to use are turned the opposite direction in my bowl. There we go. So I want to kind of randomly do the bigger ones and then come back and feed in the smaller ones. Whoops. All right. I think I want to do a few of the red as well. I'm really having trouble getting them to turn over. Okay, I'm going to grab a few more of them because I'm out of the red ones completely. What do you think so far? I think we're going to need a few more red. There we go. And that's just a sequin mix. I have no idea where it came from. Just a bag I had in my stash. But I do like how this is turning out. Get one more red one. There we go. All right. What do you think? I especially want you to kind of notice how your foil is kind of balanced by the other things going on. It's not overpowering the card. I love it. Okay, the last card we're going to do is another mouse card, and it's this one right here, and we're going to go ahead and trim this one down as well. And my plan for this one, well, I don't know if it'll work or not because I don't have very many red beads. So we'll see. All right. So we're not going to glue it down, but we're going to put this one right in here. And for my idea for this one, let's see. A 3 3/4. And now let's just take a piece like this. And let's do it to the gold as well. I've got a piece of gold here because I want to decide which one we like best. I have a feeling with the way I colored the little bauble that he's sitting on that I'm going to like the gold, but let's see. And we also have some of the red, and we're going to do our little trick here with our foil, or with our frame, to go ahead and make ourselves a little foil frame scallop to go across there. Okay. And we'll decide which one we like, whether it's the green or the gold. I just don't know. I'm just going to have to... Okay. Clean up my mess a little bit. Okay. Alright, so let's kind of lay it out and see what we think. If this has a nice little red Obviously, those two little sides would be pulled off of there. And then hang our little guy right in here. What do you think? I maybe should have made more of an angle. Let's see. I made it a little shorter than I could have. And if we decide to go this way, we'll cut this bottom off. But maybe something like this. Maybe not quite that tall. Alright, so there it is, kind of with our green. Let's try it with the gold. Ooh, I think I like the black much better. Yeah, this paper doesn't match the gold ball at all. Yep. It always seems like when you, you know, are unsure, one of them becomes obvious really quickly, right? So, okay. Let's go ahead and glue this down. I would love it if you'd let me know there in the chat if, you know, you have things concerning using the foil, if you feel like, you know, it's great every time, or are some of these tips helpful to you, or what other kinds of issues do you run into when you're using the foiled panels? You know, I would love to know what your thoughts are. I think about that much will be good. And we're going to trim off the part that we don't want. All right. That is just another way to kind of break up our foiled section. And let's see, I'm not sure if we have a circle handy that will cut that out, but I do have a rectangle. Let's see if that'll work. I think so. The reason I'm having to pick up my die machine today is because I have my other table over here just filled with other stuff. I need to clean up my craft room. That happens to all of us, right? Where it just becomes so much. All right. So let's add our foam. Not quite yet. This isn't glued down. All right, now my thought on this one was to add, some little gems in here, but because we end up with the green one that's got the red dots, I don't think that's necessary, and I don't think I have enough. So we could do some gold ones in here if we wanted to. What do you think of that? I don't think it needs it. It wouldn't be very many, but I don't think it needs it. I think there's enough going on in here that this one is looking good. All right, let's go ahead and pull out all of our cards. There we go. These two are my favorites. I like the ho 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 with the Santa better than the lights, and I love the greenery kind of being around the background. But you can see that all of these are ways where the foil adds that pizzazz and shine that we love, but it doesn't overpower the sentiments and the images on the card. So that's just some ideas I wanted to give you. If you're like me and that's kind of been an issue for you as you've tried to work with the toner panels, and maybe some of these tips will help you while creating your Christmas cards this year. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me today. I have all of these products listed below the video, and we have some more fun, spooky things coming up, but we kind of switched to Christmas for a moment here, but don't worry, we still have some Halloween goodness coming your way. All right, thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you again next week. Bye-bye.